So my last area, Serving Lagos, we went to a sketchier part of town. It's called Shinikato. And we were leaving to try to get a taxi to make it to another lesson back in the city, the actual city Lagos, which is about a 15-minute walk or 20-minute drive. So we were trying to hurry and get a taxi. We were meeting the taxi driver at the bar, or the cafe, I can't remember where it was. There were a bunch of kids, super high. There was about 10 or 15 kids in this bar, just super high. Like, they were teenagers, I don't know what they were in there, but they were like, ranged from 14 to 18, just super high. And they, as we were waiting for the taxi, they came out, and as they left, they just started, saying normal swear words and just bashing on us, the church, Jesus Christ, and I remember, don't do this. I remember kind of just as they walked away, both my companions kind of went more towards like going into the bar to ask the people to call the guy again, the taxi driver. I remember just like kind of watching them as they left, because I was kind of ticked what they said. I just watched them, and one of them kind of looked back. And because they're high, they don't have any control of what they're thinking or what they're feeling or whatever. So I remember looking back, and he started talking to me. Like, they were at least 50 yards away, but he started yelling back at me. And then I just ignored it and went back inside. Anyways, my companion goes out, and he's like, Elder Limbley, get back out here. And I come out, and this whole group of guys are coming back. And one of them grabs a garden. It wasn't a garden hose, it was like a pipe for a sprinkler system. And he grabs this pipe and comes and smacks my companion in the face. Smacks him in the face. This does not happen a lot. Just don't be dumb like me. Smacks him in the face. Some other guy comes to uppercut him in the mouth, but I pulled him away. And then the guys that were in the cafe came and helped us and kind of said we split it up. So that was a pretty crazy, sketchy thing. So anyway, just, I guess, don't look at him like that, like I did. I was so dumb. Anyway, so that was a crazy experience. But this other experience was a really cool one. That just was like a super big tender mercy. Just, it's one of those experiences you cherish. So I was doing splits. I was a zone leader, and this was my second last area. So I was about a year and a half into my mission. Or a little before that, I was doing a division splits with one of the missionaries from a northern area, and he was a greenie. He was brand new, and I'm gonna do my best way. It's been 2 years. I'm gonna do my best way to tell it the right way. But we just pulled out all our money for the month, because every month you pull out your money and you keep it, or you find a way to where it's a place to put it in the apartment. And so we pulled out our money at some point during the day, and I remember us getting to the metro at the top of this metro system, and it travels all the way through Villanova de Gaia, all into the city Porto, which is a very well-known city in Portugal. And so we're at the very top, and we start there, and we have about 5 minutes until it leaves. So we're looking for people to talk to, but there weren't that many, so we just went into the metro and sat down. And as we sat and waited, there's about 4 or 3 minutes left. I'm sitting with my companion for the day, and as we sat there, a group of people came in to the metro. There's about 3 or 4. No, it was 4 people, and they sat right next to us. It was just weird. So there's 2 sides. There's 2 seats. So I was facing. You can face your companion, and then an aisle, and then there's 2 seats and 2 seats facing each other, just the whole way along this metro. And they sat right next to me and my companion, and then the other 2 were just upstanding looking at us. So we were surrounded, and so immediately I'm just like, oh crap. I'm like, I look over, and these guys, come to find out later, they're from a place called Vila d'Este, which is more of a sketchier place in town. And I looked over them, I was like, why are you here? And I looked over my companion, and he was looking at his money. He was starting to look at some of his money because it's new, and like he's counting it, and it's exciting. And I was just like, crap. And so what happened is we were trapped, and sorry, big pauses. We were trapped, and they started getting up in his face. 2 of them started getting up in his face, started threatening him, and they're just like, give us your money, kid. They're like, you got a lot of money there, you better give it to us. And they started threatening him. They're up in his face, telling him, give us the money. And poor kid is brand new in the mission, so he doesn't understand perfectly what they're saying. Thank heavens, because they were saying some rude things. And then also he wasn't, he couldn't really speak back, so he's just looking at me scared to death, like, what do I do here? And I'm at that point, like, I didn't know what to do either. I was super nervous, like what do I do in this situation? And finally, the train actually starts leaving. At that point, it starts going to the next stops. So in my mind, I'm just like, okay, we'll be okay. We just have to wait to the next stop, and the people will come in. And the threats kept getting stronger. Like, they were acting like they were going to punch him and stuff like that, trying to get in his face. It was just so funny. They're just like, anyways, it was just funny to see him like fake like they're going to do something. And I was like, okay, back off the kid. I was like, leave him alone. And they're like, what? And they started coming to me now. And like, what, you got some money? I was like, yeah, I got a lot of money. I got a lot. I was like, at this point, I'd already been robbed in my mission. And so there's no way, and they stole my camera, they stole my money, and there was like no way I was going to rob again. So it teaches you in the White Bible to let just people take it or whatever. But I'm sorry, I disobeyed that day and said no. Anyways, the guy comes up to my face and is like, do you have money? And I was like, yeah, I have a lot of money with me right now. And he's like, give it to me. I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. So they start threatening us. At this point, we're finally at a stop. And so you think people start to come in though, right? No, so the two openings, one of the guys went over there, the extra guys, and the other guy went over there and told people to back off and not get in. So we're literally trapped. And I was like, crap. I was like, we're literally trapped in this thing. I was starting to get nervous. I was like, because I thought that was our out. And so the metro starts going again. We're still surrounded by these guys. And I started to get worried when the threats got a little way worse. Death threats even. And they started acting like they were going to pull out knives out of their socks. I'm not sure if they even did have a knife, but that's what they were motioning towards. And I started to get super worried. And I remember just praying, like, Heavenly Father, what do you want me to do here? And just because I was super worried, I wanted to make sure he was okay. Because you get to the point in your mission where you're totally fine giving your life. That's just, like, I told myself that multiple times, like, I'm ready whenever he wants me. I'm not saying that was going to happen, but, and I just remember as I was praying hard and the threats were coming to my face and the fake punches, just had a feeling, just teach them. And that was just, it was clear. It was super simple, but it was just a clear thought and feeling, just teach him. So I looked at the guy who was making the majority of the threats towards me and my companion, and I was just like, I'm not going to give you the money. And he's like, why? And I was like, do you want to know why? Do you want to know why I'm not going to give you this money? He's like, yeah, tell me. Actually, he was more like, no, but whatever, go ahead and tell me. I was just like, it's because me and my companion have spent our whole life saving up this money so we could come here and teach you about Jesus Christ. And for the next stops, we were going to get off at one point, but for about one or two more stops, we just started teaching the restoration, a very rundown, super quick version of the restoration, and telling him how important that message was to us and that we wanted him to have it, all of them. And so by the time we finally got to the stop where we got off, we left them with 2 Book of Mormons. And then that's all we had with us, unfortunately, but then 2 invitations to church for there too. That was just a really cool experience. We both got off the train and went off, and we both just looked at each other and just started laughing like, what just happened? But it was one of the coolest experiences to just see Heavenly Father work through us and realize, like, in that moment, like, God, those are His children. And they're coming from rough backgrounds too, different backgrounds. But the gospel could still help them. And so that was one of the moments where I learned about Jesus Christ a little bit and that He doesn't judge. It was cool.